Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm so sorry I haven't posted in a while. I've been super busy and it's been a super hectic couple of weeks, but I'm back with another video of factoring because I know a lot of students, especially the ones that I tutor, struggle with factoring. So we're going to go over some more in depth. We're going to start here. Okay, so factoring by grouping. So you use this when there are four terms, and you group the terms and factor out the common expression. So an example is x cubed plus 3x minus 3. So you're going to make sure that there are four terms, which there are, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to group them, which we did. It goes x cubed, and then x squared, and then x, and then just a number. Okay, and then you're going to split it in half. So what I like to do is split it right down the middle. So we're going to focus on just the left and then focus just on the right. So we're going to focus on the left first, and we're going to factor out a common term. So a common term I see is x squared. So we're going to factor out the x squared from just the left side. And when we do that, you're going to get x plus 3. And then now we're just going to factor the right side. And a common factor I see is -1. And then it's going to be x plus 3. And a way to fact check yourself, this and this has to be the same. And it is, so we know that we did it right. And then what we're going to do next, we're just basically, this and this has to be the same because we need to factor that out. So we're going to factor that out, x plus 3 factored out, and then you're just going to get x squared minus 1. And that is your answer. And honestly, okay, this one you can also factor further, but I will come back to that in a bit. The next one, perfect square trinomials. So when the first and last term are perfect squares and the middle term follows the 2AB pattern. Okay, so this is the formula. A squared plus 2AB plus B squared is equal. It's just going to equal A plus B squared. And then if it's A squared minus 2AB plus B squared, then the equation is going to simplify to A minus B squared. So our first example, x squared plus 6x plus 9. So this is our A term. This is our AB term, or 2AB term, and this is our B term. So yes, our A term is just x because x squared is equal to x squared, and then our B term is going to be 3 because 3 squared is equal to 9. And we know that x times, this is hard. Okay, hold on. X times 3 times 2 is equal to 6x, which is equal to this, So we know that that we can use this. And that's just going to simplify to x plus 3 squared. We're going to go all the way back here. Quadratic. So here I'm just going to do some x factoring. I know in my other video of factoring, I briefly went over this, but I didn't go into depth. So we're going to try to explain more fully. So basically, you're going to draw an x, and on this left side, you're going to write the b term, which is here. So it's -5, and then on the right side, you're going to write a times c. So we see here a is 1 and c is 6. So it's going to be 1 times 6, which is 6. Then on the top and bottom, you're going to think of two numbers that multiply to 6 and add up to -5. So two numbers that add up to the number on the right, and two numbers that multiply to the number on the right, and then two numbers that add up to the number on the left. So let's see. Let's try 3 and 2. 3 times 2 is equal to 6, but 3 plus 2 doesn't equal 5, so this won't work. Actually, let's try 3 and 2 again. What if we substitute some negative numbers in? -3 times -2 equals +6. Yes, that works. -3 plus -2 equals -5, and yes, that works. So then we can just, it's basically just going to be this term plus the number on the top, and then this term plus the number on the bottom. So it's going to be x minus 3 and x minus 2 equals 0. And then we're just going to solve for the x terms. It's going to be x minus 3 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. So then x equals 3, x equals 2. So these are your two solutions. Next, we're going to try the x method again. See, let's write -1. And then on the right side, it's going to be 2 times -6, which equals -12. So what two numbers multiply to -12 and add up to -1? I would try, like, let's see, 6 and 2. Like, this would multiply to -12, but it's not, no matter what you do to it, it's not going to add up to -1. So we can rule that out. And then let's try 4 and 3. 4 times 3 equals 12. So in order to make the 12 a negative, we need to put a negative on one of the numbers. And that works. -4 plus 3 equals -1. So yes, this works. In this case, okay, so number 1 and number 2 are different in that this has no coefficient and this has a coefficient. So if it has no coefficient like number 1, then you can do it like this. However, if the x squared term does have a coefficient on the front, then you need to do it like this. Okay, so you're going to bring the first term, 2x squared, down, and then you're going to do plus whatever number on the top. So it's plus -4, so I'm just going to write -4x, don't forget this term, x, plus the next, plus the number on the bottom, plus 3x, and then you're going to bring this number down. And then you're just going to do what I told you before about grouping. We're just going to group it. So factor out a factor on the left, and that's going to be, let's see, 2x. So if you factor 2x out, it's just going to be x minus 2. Then if you take out the greatest common factor on the right, it's going to be 3. So it's going to be x minus 2. And then we're going to factor the x minus 2 out. And then you're going to get 2x plus 3. Then setting that equal to 0, you're going to get x equals 2 and, let's see, -3/2. So these are your two solutions. So just remember, if there is no coefficient in front of the x squared, then you can just use this. But if it does have a coefficient like number 2, like it has a number 2 right here, then you need to do this way. Okay, last thing. Sum and differences of cubes. Used for expressions in the form of a cubed plus b cubed or a cubed minus b cubed. Formula, okay. Oh, I don't know why. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. A cubed plus b cubed equals a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. And then a cubed minus b cubed, it's going to be a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So I know it might look kind of confusing. These signs, a lot of people get mixed up on which one to use it on. So I'm going to give you a little acronym. So this is called SOAP. So the first sign, this sign, these two, it always has to be the same as your equation or your expression right here. So let's say for the first one, this is a positive. So in the simplified equation, the first one always has to be positive 2. And on number 2, this one's a negative, so the first one always has to be the -2. And then the second sign, it has to be the opposite as the original expression sign. So this is positive, so the opposite of positive is negative. So the second sign in the simplified equation or expression is going to be a negative. And on number 2, this is a negative, so the opposite of negative is a positive. So the second sign on the simplified expression has to be a positive. And then the last sign has to be always positive. So this last sign is always going to be positive. So an example is x cubed minus 27. So a term is x, b term is 3 because 3 cubed is equal to 27. And just following this rule and remembering SOAP, we're going to do x, just go over this, x minus 3. This first one is going to be a negative because this is a negative, times x times a squared, which is x, so it's going to be x squared, plus, because plus is opposite, and following SOAP, the next one has to be opposite, plus ab, which is 3x, and then the last sign always has to be positive, so we're going to do plus b squared, which is 3 squared, which is 9. So it's going to give you x minus 3 times x squared plus 3x plus 9. And that is another review on factoring and some other ways you can factor. Please let me know if you have any more questions or any other topics you want me to go over.